Seconds for everyone to hop on, but today is going to be very simple. Today we're just going to talk about how do you actually find the email addresses to the events that you want to speak at. So you're cold email, or you want a cold email, you're prospecting, you're trying to find all these events, and in order to actually get in touch with the events, you got to find the email addresses. So how do you actually do that? Like, what do you really do? A while ago, I remember when someone actually asked me this question. They were like, well, how do you actually find the emails? Like, I'm having a hard time finding the emails to these events. And at first I was like, that's a dumb question. What do you mean, how do you find emails? And so that was literally what popped into my head. I was like, that's a dumb question. And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, I can see how sometimes it would be hard to find the email and you're not really sure which email to get, like which email to actually put inside of your CRM and who to actually contact with the events. And so that's what I want to talk about today. It's going to be really simple. And then if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask those questions. And once again, this thing isn't low. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's see who's hopping on real quick. So like I said, it's going to be really simple today in terms of, I'm just going to talk about how do you find the emails, different ways to find emails to the events. And then if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask the questions. You can ask them right now and I'll come back to them later. First come, first serve type of thing. So what's up, everybody? Nick, Maggie, Paul, Ari, what's up, everybody? Kathy. All right. Yeah. What's up? So like I said, it's going to be really simple. How do you actually find the emails to the event? So if you're prospecting, hopefully you're prospecting and you're looking on the websites, and sometimes it is kind of hard to find the emails. And so in order for you to actually get hired consistently, you have to keep reaching out to events. But what's going to happen is when you go to a website and you're looking for the actual contact information, you'll slow down because some of them are going to be easy. Some of them, the contact info will be literally at the top. Just bam, here's our email address. Some of them, you just won't be able to find it. You're like, what the hell? And then others they're going to have the contact form. They won't have like an actual email. And so there's all sorts of things like that can pop up when you're actually trying to contact events. And what's going to happen is you don't want to slow down. So the slower you go, obviously the less people you're going to contact, the less events you're going to contact, which means it's just going to take you longer to get hired. So you want to get this down, like just master it. Just get it down really fast. And then worry about all the other stuff, the important stuff, like learn how to pitch and all that stuff. That's what you have to really, really learn. All right. What's up, Richard? What's up, Blake? And once again, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you ask the questions. It's best to ask them now, and then I'll go back after I'm done with this. What's up, Wani? You want to think in terms of understand this. Understand that damn near almost every website has contact information. And so when people tell me they can't find the email address or there's no contact information to this event, I think that's ridiculous. There is no way a legit business would have a website and there's no possible way you can get in contact with them to buy what they're selling. There's no possible way. I mean, the only people who would do something like that are dummies. There's no possible way you can actually go to a website and then you just can't find a lot of emails. And so it's one thing for this to happen to you once, but if it keeps happening to you, if you keep saying, I can't find emails, like I can't find emails, there's something wrong with you. Like maybe you need to go get your IQ checked or something. There's something wrong with you if you can't find emails on the websites. The only factor is how fast can you do it. So I'm going to give you guys certain tools. I tell Speak Pro members to use certain tools. And then just certain little things that you can actually do in terms of finding emails. You just want to think, when people tell me they can't find emails, I just think that they're not thinking. And that's essentially what happens. So you just want to make sure that you're always thinking, make sure you're not really using excuses. So the first thing I want to show you guys that I do, here, I'll show you the screen. So here's one of the first things that I'll do. So let's say I'm on a website, right? First thing is I'll hit the Command F and watch it pop up. So you see here, it pops up right here at the top. This thing, it pops up for you to actually search for something. And so what I'll do is initially I'll type in this @ symbol. And what this Command F is doing, it's searching this entire page that you're on. The entire page is searching for whatever you type into there, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, email addresses, they always have the @ symbol. So I'll type in the @. And then here it shows 0 out of 0, right? So I'm like, this idiot who created this website, Speak Pro Academy, didn't put a freaking email address right there, right? So I'm like, this idiot. So after I do that and I can't find something, I'll type in like maybe info, right? And here, what happens is it scrolls down, it sees information. I'm like, dang it, all right, wrong thing. So I'll go back and I'll type in email. Once again, wrong thing, email templates there. So once again, I don't see anything else. I'm like, okay, maybe contact, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm typing in different things. And so see, now contact, it highlights certain things. It highlighted this, but notice it highlighted here in the navigation. If it's not in the navigation, by the way, so I'm going to imagine that it's not up here in the navigation. So usually what happened, if it's not in the navigation at the top, it'll be all the way at the bottom, like in the footer, right? So they may have it in the footer. And so here it's just literally at the top. I mean, obviously if it's at the top, there's a contact page, you're going to click on that and then you're just going to go there. And so that's essentially one of the first things I'm doing. So let me go to a real event. Let me go to Dreamforce, right? Now, Dreamforce, surprisingly, they actually made it hard to find an email address on their website. So here, I'll do the same thing. Oops, let's not do that yet. Let's close that. So when I first go to Dreamforce's website, once again, I'm thinking, okay, Command F, this thing pops up. First thing I'll do, let's do the @ symbol. Okay, all that stuff pops up, but there's no email that's showing. So I'm like, okay, all that's there. There's no email. Okay, there's an @ symbol at the bottom. All right, no email. So now I'll type in contact. All right, nothing pops up. Let me type in email. Nothing pops up. Let me type in info. Nothing pops up. I'm like, man, what the hell? Dreamforce, I'm trying to get hired by you guys, and you guys won't let me contact you, right? So I'm looking. There's nowhere here. There's nowhere that actually shows an email. Not at the bottom. Nowhere at the top. Nothing. Even when I click on menu. Watch it. This is actually really interesting. Even on menu, there is no contact thing. Like literally, there's no contact us, right? Now, obviously, I know that they're with Salesforce, but I'm going to imagine I don't know this is the Salesforce company. So here, I'm going to just use my common sense to say, okay, let me go to frequently asked questions. So I'm going to go to frequently asked questions. And at this point, I'm going to do the same thing with the Command F on here. So I'm going to let's do the @ symbol. Let's see what pops up with the @ symbol. Okay, oh, that's all the way at the bottom. Let me type in contact. All right, so this says, can I contact the hotel directly? So now it's going through the frequently asked questions thing. So there's several that pops up with the contact. All right, so who should I contact for requesting this? Who should I contact for this? All right, now let me just click on one of these. Let's click on this. All right, nothing pops up. Let's scroll down even more. During who can I contact for accessibility? All right, nothing there. Who can I contact for this? All right, bam. So now I got some contact information. Even though here it says who do I contact for like sign language, even though it says that and there's a number here, I do not care what contact information I'm getting. As long as the contact information is the company that I'm going after. So even though I will be emailing that email, I'll just grab that email right there where it said email us. I'll grab that email. All I'm going to do is just send them an email saying, hey, I'm interested in your Dreamforce event. Who do I contact about the event, right? So that's what I'm going to do. It's one of the reasons why I do not care what email I actually grab on a website. And so a lot of questions that speakers tend to ask, they'll ask me the question or another speaker or someone else. They'll ask everybody except the person they should ask that question. So when speakers say, like, who do I actually contact to get hired for an event? And I just say, well, why are you asking me? Why don't you ask them the actual event that you want to get hired by? Just email them, say, who do I contact, right? And so that's why I don't care what email address I'm getting. So that's one of the first things that I'll do, or one of the first things you can do. That's actually not technically the first thing I'll do. I'll show you the first thing I actually do. But that's one of the first things I used to do, all right? So that was one of the things in terms of finding the emails. And once again, I want to point out that it does not matter which email address you get. So if you see there's info@soandso.com or marketing@soandso.com or John Doe at soandso.com, it doesn't matter. Just grab one and go through the sequence that we have in the Speak Pro Academy. Just go through that sequence, use the email templates, you're good to go, right? So that's essentially what I'm doing. And then if there is a contact information on the website or a contact form, right? So let me see. I have this thing on my website real quick. All right. Oh, man. All right. I'd probably change that. All right. So if there is a contact form on the website, so let's say there is no email address, there's only a contact form when you go to the contact page, then at that point, you simply go into your CRM and hopefully you set up a tag. This tag, it'll just say contact form. And what I'm doing is, let's say I'm going through a list of 100 events that I found, 100 websites that I found. I go back to look for the email addresses, right? I go through the first 15. I get the emails that way that I just showed you. But then I get to the 16th one, and all I see is a contact form. There is no email address there, but there is a contact form. I am not going to send them an email right then and there because it's going to mess up my mojo. It's going to mess up my flow, my in the zone flow. And so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to check mark this. I'm going to tag them in the CRM as contact form, and then I'm going to go back to all the contact forms later on. So the sequence goes like this. I found all these events. Let's say I found 100 events, websites. I put them into the CRM, 100 websites. I go back, I look for the email addresses, and let's say out of the 100, I find 85 actual email addresses, and then there's 15 that have contact forms. So I check marked all these websites in terms of the CRM as a tag saying contact form, right? This lets me know I can just go back to all these, the 15 later on, and I'll fill in the contact forms with the email templates, of course. I'll just copy and paste the email template, bam, put it in there, bam, put it in there, bam, put it in there. That's what I'm doing. That's the workflow when I come across a contact form. Now, in terms of what's in, by the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you ask, and then I'll get back to your questions after I do this real quick. All right. So make sure you ask right now. If questions are first come, first serve. All right. So that's the first thing that I'm doing in terms of actually finding emails. After that, this is probably what you really want to do is you want to start using actual tools. And by the tools, what I mean is a tool like Email Hunter. So let's see, let's type in award banquet. Let's see what pops up here. All right, so let's do this. Let me show you guys a screen. Let's click on not Eventbrite. All right, let's click on this one. All right. So here's what Email Hunter does. Instead of me having to go to the contact us and do all that stuff, Email Hunter, I'm simply going to go over here where Email Hunter is, and I'm going to click on it, and it's actually going to show me like, bam, see how easy that was? It just shows me all these people's email addresses. I didn't have to do anything. I just clicked one button, boom, all these email addresses pop up, right? And so once again, I don't care whose email address I get. If I see one that literally makes sense, one that actually says like marketing or meeting plan or something like that, if I see that, I'm obviously going to choose that one over an engineer. And so I'll just use common sense. But once again, if it's like this where there's just names here, I don't actually know who does what or anything. So I may click here. Forget that. So basically what I'm going to do is, like, literally, I'm just going to grab this person's thing, Tristan. I'm going to be like, all right, Tristan, let me hit you up. I'm going to ask Tristan, who do I contact in terms of the events? So Email Hunter, it's going to allow you, tools like that, it's going to allow you to actually find emails really fast. And this is why I'm telling you guys, if you're not in Speak Pro Academy, what you doing, man? I'm telling you, it's going to take you forever to figure this stuff out yourself. Little details like this are the things that you actually have to figure out. Either you figure it out or you just get told what to do in terms of how to do it. So that is the way that I used for the longest term was Email Hunter and other similar tools. One method that Alio actually said that was really good is you go to the WHOIS database. And so the WHOIS database, it's like when you have a website, your contact information is inside of this WHOIS database unless you like buy privacy or something like that. But your contact information is inside of this database. So you can type in any website, go there into the WHOIS database, type in the website, and it actually show you the contact information. So that's another way to do it. Now, the CRM that I use, base CRM, or now they changed it to Zendesk Sell. Now this CRM is actually cool as all hell. They came out with a thing called Reach, where I fill out the stuff that I normally fill out with events, the name and the website and all that. And it just finds the freaking contact information for me. Like, that's actually insane however they did that. it is really, really cool. Of course, you got to pay for it, but still, what you're doing in terms of finding emails is you're simply thinking along the lines of, how do I do it fast, right? So if you're doing it manually, like if you literally go to a website, you click on the contact page and you look and you copy and paste, that is the slowest way to do it. You need to invest into tools like Email Hunter or just Zendesk Sell and use their tool like Reach. Invest in those and you will just go. Like you'll freaking, by the time you sent out 200 emails, other people are going to be finding only 20 emails, and you already found all the emails. You already sent out your campaigns, everything like that. So you gotta use the tools. Another really good tool is rocketreach.co. So rocketreach.co, and let's go there. I'll show you guys this thing. So rocketreach.co. This is actually a friend of mine, Yannick, told me about this site. So Rocket Reach is really cool because you can actually just use this to, like, once again, find all sorts of contact information from pretty much anybody. Like here they show Bill Gates, and that's literally what you do. You type in someone's name, things like that, and then bam, I don't know what it does. It truly does it finds their phone number, their email. It finds, several of their phone numbers if they have different phones. It's actually pretty cool, this website, Rocket Reach. So that's another thing. So once again, these tools really help you out. A tool like Cision, Cision, Cision.com. That is a tool that all the top PR people use. And I mean top PR people as in people who deal with celebrities, like those types of PR people. It's expensive. I mean, it's like $5,000 minimum, but still what happens inside of that tool, they already have the database for all sorts of news outlets and everything like that. And so what you're doing is you're using tools like this to figure out or to find email addresses. Because you got to remember that when you are getting hired as a speaker, you don't want to spend any time doing things that don't actually generate revenue. So you want to think along the lines of if I could only do one thing that makes all the money in my business, what would that one thing be? That's how you want to think. And so in terms of getting hired, what is that thing? Is that thing creating a website? Not at all. Is it writing a book? Not at all. Is it finding events? Not at all. Is it finding emails? Not at all. The one thing that's actually going to get you booked on a stage is contacting people, literally talking to people. So every second you spend doing everything else is a second you wasted. And so if you are spending a lot of time finding emails to events, you are wasting your time. Of course, it's necessary. You have to find emails in order to contact them. But why would you spend an hour finding emails when you can spend 5 minutes finding emails by using tools and things like that, right? You might be saying, but I don't really want to pay for stuff, right? In the beginning, everyone's afraid to pay for stuff, which is actually, I think it's kind of funny because not paying for stuff slows you down. You just don't realize it. Like you don't realize how slow you're going because you're very inefficient. And so you have to pay for stuff to be more efficient and more effective. Otherwise, it's just going to take you too long to get to where you want to be. And so if you're not using tools like Email Hunter or Zendesk Sell, using their Reach thing, or Rocket Reach, Precision, stuff like that. If you're not using tools like that, you're simply taking too long to get to the bottom line, to get to the part where you actually get hired, where you're literally talking to people, talking to events. So keep that in mind. The other last thing that I want to mention is terms of, just guessing email addresses. So if you truly want to contact someone like Mark Benioff from Salesforce, the CEO, or Bill Gates, like you're looking for like big dogs or whatever, right? So you're looking for those types of people. You can literally just guess their email address at the company because all companies tend to have a similar email form, right? Or like a similar email method. So it's like lastname.firstname at company.com or firstnameLastname at company.com or firstname at company.com or info at company.com or support at company.com. So even if you just guess things like that, you can actually end up guessing right. And so you can just start guessing emails. When people say to me they cannot find emails, it is simply because they're not looking, they're not thinking, and they're just not executing. Like literally, they're not doing anything. I think the number one factor is they're not actually doing it. So when several people have told me, yeah, but how do you find emails? What if this? What if that? I'm like, stop playing this what if game. You will always lose the what if game. The only reason people cannot find emails is because they're not thinking, they're not using common sense, and it's also because they're not actually doing anything, right? And what I mean by that is if you just did something, if you just found an event, you just did what I did, typed in a word banquet, clicked on a link, and then you just kind of looked around a little bit, you would naturally see, okay, yeah, I can actually find the email addresses. The people who don't do that, people who are all in their heads, always planning all the time, you're like, well, but what if they don't have an email? What if there's no contact information on the website? I'm like, think about it. How many emails or how many websites really do that? Like in terms of no contact information. So that's what happens in terms of the emails. Now, any questions about anything you guys can ask, and let me go back up and see if there were any questions real quick. All right, so let's see. Bill said, I have 4,900 contacts between the college and the youth market. Do I contact them first? Many of them don't have a name of the event. What do I say in place of the name? So in place of the name, you put either like a company name, or you put in the high school name or the college name. You put that in the subject line in place of the name of the event name, right? So that's what you do in replace of that. And yeah, of course you contact them, right? So it doesn't really matter how long ago it was, nothing like that. You just contact people. You have to get into your head. The more you contact people, the more likely you're going to get hired. The less you contact people, the less you're going to get hired. And this is, it's like why I keep coming back to that story of my friend Rich years ago when I wasn't even really into business all that much. I was just performing, and I was like, why am I not getting hired, right? And so, and then my friend Rich opened the phone book. He just freaking called somebody. Like, just cold called. Had no idea if they hired entertainers, nothing. Just freaking called people. And then after a few calls, someone was interested and he got a gig. That is what you have to focus on. You have to literally realize that the more you contact, the more likely you're going to get hired. The more you think about this stuff, the less likely you're going to get hired, because you're not doing a damn thing, right? And so this is why I keep telling people, if all you're doing is watching me, what's the point? Like, literally, if you're just watching me, there is no point in watching me, watching anything for motivation, none of that stuff. There's literally no point. You can get motivated all you want. If you're not doing stuff, you don't understand the reality of a situation. And so you want to sit there and think along lines of, I don't care who I'm contacting, I'm going to contact people. And you just say, look, I don't care if it's freaking, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, it doesn't matter what the event is, nothing. You just contact them. That's it. And then from that point, what you say is going to depend on who you're talking to. So let's say like right now, I'm only doing corporate work, right? But someone gave me a list of 1,000 high schools. I could still contact those high schools and be like, hey man, so I noticed you're a high school, but do you do any corporate events or something like that, right? So I'm going to ask something about the corporate world, but it won't be that was dumb what I just said, but I'm going to ask something about the corporate world in terms of contacting high schools. I'm like, hey principal, what does your wife do? I mean, like, does your wife work for a company where they need a motivational speaker or something? So it doesn't matter who I'm talking to, I'm still going to bring it back to what I want to talk about. So that's why you just want to contact people. That should be going through your head 24/7. Contact people 24/7. Everything else is literally a waste of time. Of course, you have to do other things, like you have to have a great website. You have to find email addresses. But if you could only, like, if you snap your fingers and be like, I only want to do one thing, and there's only one thing, and everything else happens automatically, right? If there was only one thing, that one thing would be contacting people. Whether you're sending an email, sending a freaking Instagram message, Facebook message, calling them, you have to contact people. You have to reach out to people. So let's see. Wani said, for our videos, if we don't have a lot of speaking videos, can you include web TV series until you get more videos up, or web TV interviews? Yeah, I mean, basically you can include whatever you need to include on your website. And this is one of the things where once again, it all depends on how it looks. So it's not just about having the TV interview there. It all depends on how it looks overall. if you don't have a lot of things, like if you don't have pictures, videos, all that sort of stuff, well, one, if you're a Speak Pro member, just go into the program, get all the pictures from my events, and then you'll instantly have a ton of pictures. In terms of the videos, though, if you don't have videos, then you can do a simple, actually, the idea is if you guys go to my website, go to benjybruce.com, and then just look at that about me story type thing, you create one of those. So create one of those, and then bam, you have an instant video, and then use any videos you currently have, like the TV interviews, that sort of stuff, any testimony, anything you currently have, and then your website is not going to be like a full-blown website. So it's going to be like a one-page website. You'll have home, about, contact, and then videos or something, right? And when they click home, it's just going to be home. When they click about, it's going to scroll down to a simple about section. When they click video, it's going to scroll down to the one video you have, like the about me video or the TV appearance. And then when they click contact, it'll scroll all the way to the bottom, and then it'll just be contact information. And so that's what you do if you don't actually have a lot of stuff. If you're a Speak Pro Academy member, like I said, just go inside Speak Pro Academy, and then there's tons of pictures you guys can use. And these are crowd pictures where you see a big crowd and you don't really see a speaker on stage. You see like a little speck, and so you're not really sure who that speaker is. And that's why I let everyone use those pictures, right? All right, so let's see. Bill said, I set up another email account to use as a virtual assistant. Is it best to send my emails from the virtual assistant email or from my own email? It doesn't really matter. I mean, that's technically up to you which one you want to do. All right, so let's see. He said, do you need a Frank Sinatra moment in the pitch? Yeah, the Frank Sinatra sentence. So for those of you guys who don't know what he's talking about, the Frank Sinatra sentence, I just came up with the word. But basically, Frank Sinatra, he was like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And so I thought the Frank Sinatra sentence is basically, what's the thing that you can say in one, maybe two sentences that builds all the credibility in the world for you? Because the longer you go on in your pitch, the harder it is to keep their attention, the more likely you're going to you'll just lose their attention, right? So you want to create a short pitch. At the same time, you have to build enough credibility and curiosity to get them to click on a link to your website. So the Frank Sinatra sentence is, let's say if I'm going to talk to a group of realtors and I send an email saying, hey, I built an 8-figure real estate business in 3 years, and I'm going to show you realtors the marketing tactics that I use to do it, right? So when I send an email like that, it builds all the credibility in the world. And so you're thinking in terms of what's going to build the credibility. It can be something as simple as, Bill has been hired by Remax, AAA, Intel, Best Buy, Microsoft. It can be something as simple as you just list company names, or he's appeared on Fox, CBS. It can be something simple like that, or it can be like a story that you have. So like Ari actually has a great story with the 9/11 thing, right? Because he was actually in the building when that happened. And so it's like if he just says that literally in one sentence, like, hey, when September 11th happened, I was actually in the building and I have a message to share. So literally saying that, it's like, whoa, wow. Like it's something so specific to him that it's something that he can actually say that other people can't really duplicate. And so that's kind of what the Frank Sinatra thing is. So that's kind of what you're doing with your pitch. All right. But yeah, you should always think about the Frank Sinatra sentence. In the meantime, if you can't think of anything, just list a couple of companies that you were hired by. And then you're simply thinking about ways to really create enough curiosity in the email to get them to click on the link to your website. That's ultimately what you're doing. But yeah, all that, Bill, if you post inside the group, like post what your pitch is, and or even better, actually have a real email conversation with somebody, like send out email number 1. When they reply, pitch them, and then post that conversation in the group, and we'll go over that conversation. For all you Speak Pro members, if you want to post the conversations in the group, we'll go over your conversations and everything. It's really important that you don't want to do things out of context, because what happens out of context is you just don't put reality there, right? So people play the what if game in their head. You're like, well, what if this, what if that, what if this? And then they create a pitch or something like that. And what happens when you create a pitch or a template for your pitch, what happens is you'll copy and paste that, and it won't make sense in a conversation. Like it just won't make sense. So it's like you'll say, hey, who hired speakers? They'll say, I hired speakers. Do you have a speaker that you want to recommend? And then all of a sudden people will copy and paste their pitch, right? That doesn't make any sense. So what makes sense is if you answer their question like a real conversation. If I said, hey, who hires speakers? They reply with, I do. Why? Do you have a speaker you would like to recommend? I would say, oh, yes, I do have a speaker I'd like to recommend. His name is Benji Bruce. You can see his videos right here, right? And Benji Bruce, he was hired by blah, blah, blah. And that's when I'll mention maybe 3 sentences worth of stuff. But that's pretty much what you're doing. And so you're keeping it all in context. All right, so let's see. When I said in the terms and conditions or privacy, there you can find their email legally to be compliant with the GDPR. All websites must have it. All right, wait. So you said in the terms and conditions or privacy. Yeah, so all websites over in Europe must have it. But yeah, all the people here in the U.S. don't have to. All right, so let's see. So yeah, I guess that is a good method. So if you guys are over in Europe, all you gotta do is just go to the privacy section and then do the email thing, and then just look for their emails and bam. And if they don't have it, well, at that point you can say, hey man, either you guys hire me or I'm gonna report you to the government, and you guys are gonna be charged. You're gonna get such a big fine, it's gonna be ridiculous. So you either hire me or else. So that's how you do it. That's how you roll. All right. So let's see. Ari said, what happens if they send you back the URL that you just came from? Then, well, think about it. What would you do? Like, well, one, I've never had that happen. That doesn't make sense. Because if you just came from the URL, it's like they would know that there's no contact information there. So but let's say someone did do it, right? So let's say I send an email, hey, who hires the speakers? So I contact Dreamforce. I contact that email that I looked at. You're like, yeah, we don't really know, or something like that. Like, just check it here. I would literally reply with, there's no contact information there. Is there anyone in Salesforce or anyone in Salesforce that you know that I can contact? Literally, like, is there info? Is there a contact support? So that's all I would ask. So like, yeah, that's literally all I would do. So let's see. Reach only works if you have a name, and I'm mostly able to find the names through Email Hunter. Yep, cool. So rocketreach.co. Yep, rocketreach.co is really good. So you said, but if the first thing you need to do is have your website up and proper, then it's not a waste of time, no? Well, no, I mean, so like I said, you want to think in terms of, if you could only do one thing nonstop all day, every day, what would that one thing be? It's not like you don't do other things. It's just that they're not nearly as important as this one thing. And that's what I mean. So of course you need a website. Of course you have to find emails to contact events. There's no way you can just contact events, not have an email address, right? Or a phone number. But this thing is the thing that will literally generate all the revenue. And the way I tell people to think about this is, all you have to do is sit down and say, if I did this thing all day, every day, 24 hours for 365 days, what would happen? Literally, what would happen? So if I literally sat down all day, every day, working on a website, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, or 365 days is a year. So if I sat down and did that for an entire year, what would happen? All that would happen is I'd have a pretty good looking website. That's all that would happen. I'd be broke as all hell, but I'd have a good looking website. Now let's move on. Let's say if all I did all day, every day was find email addresses to events for 24 hours a day, 365 days, what would happen? All I would do, all that would happen is I would have a boatload of email addresses. That's all that would happen. On the other hand, let's say all I did all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 365 days, and all I did was contact people. Literally contact them saying, I'm the greatest speaker alive. You better hire me or I'm going to send the mob your way and they're going to deal with you, right? So if all you did was contact people, what would happen? You would get hired. It's inevitable. Someone will be like, sure, let's hire this guy, right? It's inevitable. And so that's why I'm like, this is the most important activity. And so anything else you do, you want to spend little time doing it. Of course you have to, but you want to spend little time doing it. It reminds me of like what Elon Musk said. Elon Musk, he was like, man, if I could, I would just take a pill instead of actually eating food, because eating food takes time. And so it's one of the things that you have to do. But as an entrepreneur, it's like it's taking time away from the thing that I'm trying to build. So it's like, all right, I'm sitting there, I got to cook. Or even if you don't have to cook, if you have a cook who brings you food, and it's like, all right, well, I got to cut up, got to freaking eat thing, got to chew and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, oh man, that took some time. Whereas if all you could do is just like, bam, pop a pill and you got all the nutrients, everything, then that's what Elon Musk was talking about, to where it's not that he's going to stop eating. It's just that, hey, this isn't the thing that generates revenue in my business, so I don't want to do it. And that's why Elon Musk, actually, I heard he's like a garbage disposal. Like, you put food in front of him and it's just consumed in about 60 seconds. And so you think the same way with contacting events, to where anything you do other than actually talking to people is literally a waste of your time. So you want to spend as little time as possible on that thing, but you still have to do those things. Like Elon Musk, despite not wanting to eat the food, he has to eat the food or he's going to die. So you got to think the same way. All right, so let's see. All right, so we got that. So you said big school districts sometimes have or hire motivational speakers for teacher training programs, especially in the beginning of the school year. Yep. All right, so let's see. Reggie said, I took your advice and now use Pipedrive for my CRM. I'm able to find emails quickly, and I've been attaching my website link. All right, and the email, I was able to book a $5,000 event. Nice. From this effort. So thank you. Cool. All right, perfect. See, that's what I'm talking about. Reggie's doing some work. What's up with you guys not competing with Reggie? Reggie's whooping your ass. Reggie's got a $5,000 gig, and I don't think Reggie's a Speak Pro member. Come on, man. What you guys doing? Like, Reggie's kicking your guys' ass, man. So he actually took the advice to heart. Actually got a CRM. Some of you guys, like I said, some of you guys have been watching me for a long time. You still haven't bought a CRM. What are you doing? Like, literally, I'm not joking. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing throughout the day? You haven't even bought a CRM. A CRM like Pipedrive is what, $12 a month or something like that. So once again, what are you doing? And so if like I said, if all you do is watch these videos, listen to podcasts and all that, and you're having all these dreams and fantasies in your head, it simply will not happen. You will not law of attraction your way to building $1 million business. It just won't happen. You literally have to do what someone like Reggie did. Got Pipedrive, actually start contacting events, got a $5,000 gig. All right. So let's see. Bill said, how about from severe stutter to motivational speaker for Frank Sinatra? You're not thinking in terms of a tagline. So the Frank Sinatra sentence is not a tagline. It is what builds credibility. That's what you're thinking about. So that's just a tagline, severe stutter to motivational speaker. There's no credibility in that. So it's one of those things where it's like, what's the actual credibility builder? And it will semi-change based on who you're talking to. So this is why, like, when I contact any event that involves internet marketing, I'll send them the testimonial I got from Ryan Dice, because everyone in the internet marketing space knows who he is. If I'm contacting sales events, I'll send them testimonials from Aflac, from Remax, from actual sales organizations. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. But you want to think in terms of the Frank Sinatra sentence as credibility. It's not a tagline, it's credibility. So that's what you're thinking with your Frank Sinatra sentence. But once again, don't overthink this. Have conversations with people. So once again, remember, every second you spend not talking to somebody is a second you just wasted. So every second you spend trying to think of your Frank Sinatra sentence, your tagline, all this stuff, you now wasted time, whereas what you should have done is contacted somebody, and then from there, you'll naturally start to see like, oh, I should be saying this, or I shouldn't be saying that, right? So that's what you want to do. All of those 4,900 events that you have, or schools and all that, just find the emails, doing what I mentioned today, find the emails, contact them. Don't even think about your Frank Sinatra sentence yet. Just contact them and just see what's up from there. Post your conversation inside of Speak Pro Academy, and then from there we can worry about your Frank Sinatra sentence and everything like that. It's really, really important that you focus on, you have a bias towards action. And so if you just keep doing stuff, you figure it out as you go. That's literally how you build anything. That's how every single billionaire, millionaire, every successful person you've ever seen, what they do is they don't plan everything. They simply do, then they figure it out as they go. That's how you need to operate. It's like, otherwise you're literally thinking too much about stuff. So you simply say, all right, I got 4,900 people to contact. Let me just send them something. You may do everything wrong in the beginning. You're going to go slow. You're not going to learn how to use a CRM the right way. You're going to do everything wrong in the beginning. But the person who does it wrong in the beginning, they're still further ahead than someone who's sitting there trying to plan how to do it the perfect way. And this is why I keep saying to everybody, what are you doing if you haven't even bought a CRM yet? For every single person watching this who hasn't even bought a CRM, I get it if you can't buy Speak Pro Academy. I mean, $2,000 a year, $5,000 lifetime, I get it. But freaking $12 a month, if you can't even buy a CRM, you're not serious about business. You just aren't. And so it's like, good luck to you, man, because you're just not serious about what you're trying to actually accomplish. All right, so let's see. Said, nice website, Reggie. All right, let me see Reggie's website real quick. I didn't check out Reggie's website. Let's see what Reggie's website looks like. Let's see. ReggieJamesPace.com. All right, so let's see, Reggie. Okay, All right. Okay. All right. So, all right, and actually, Reggie. So let me show you guys this is the top part here. So a while ago, well, several times I keep mentioning thumbnails to everybody. So this is a really cool looking thumbnail. Like the way Reggie did these with his thumbnails is really important that you guys think about your thumbnails on your websites, because the thumbnails, like I said, it is just an image, but the images on your website kind of determines whether or not it's like a really good website. And notice, and this is also what I meant inside Speak Pro Academy, this image isn't mine, but notice how here you got Reggie here, and then there's the crowd here. You can't really see a speaker on a stage. These are the types of images that are inside Speak Pro Academy, where anyone can take an image like this and just put themselves right there on the side or whatever, and bam, now you have a really cool looking image, right? And so yeah, it's like, and I'm assuming Reggie, you've probably been following me for a while, and that's probably what you did. So like I said, Reggie, I mean, he's crushing you guys. But Reggie's probably watching this stuff for free, and he's actually taking action, actually doing some stuff. So what you guys doing if you haven't even bought a CRM yet? All right, let's see. Tammy said, I'm here now sending out emails while I'm listening. What about this line? From being told she would never sing to the Apollo stage in New York. So once again, it's not a tagline. A Frank Sinatra sentence is not a tagline. It is simply, what's the credibility? Like, what credibility do you have? Did you appear on any TV, or do you have any TV appearances? Like, what companies hired you that are very well known? Those are simple Frank Sinatra sentences. Those are simple sentences that I actually use right now. Like, I literally just say a list of companies, like literally list of companies and TV appearances. That's all I do. I don't sit there and say like I built a 7-figure business. Well, I do that if I'm talking about the marketing stuff, but 99% of the time it's just literally here are the companies that I've been hired by. So that is not, it's not a tagline. If your thing can be summed up into a tagline, you did it wrong. Frank Sinatra sentence is not a tagline. It is what builds credibility. Like when you tell someone this thing, they're like, bam, their view of you just shifts. Like, oh man, this person is a baller, right? So imagine you're sitting next to an old guy. You're just, let's say you're in a movie theater or something. You're sitting next to an old guy. You're like, hey man, how's it going? And you have one way of seeing this old guy. You're like, oh yeah, this old guy, how's it going, man? Yeah. All right. Yeah. You're old, man. Yeah. All those wrinkles, right? And then all of a sudden, as you're talking, he's like, yeah, so I basically built $1 billion business. At that point, you're like, oh, what? Like, shoot, can I get your number real quick? Shoot, man. And so at that point, everything about that person just changed because of one thing he said to you. He built all the credibility in the world by saying that. But if he came up with a tagline, if he just said to you, like he's, I don't know, but if he came up with a tagline, you would just be like, okay, this dude's cheesy. All right, let me just watch this movie. And so you want to think along the lines of your Frank Sinatra sentence is a credibility builder. It's not a tagline. It's like, what do you say where people say like, oh, damn, really? So if you're like, if you say, all right, let's say you're an entertainer and you go, you say, all right, Benji Bruce, he's appeared on America's Got Talent, right? And, or even better, Benji Bruce, he was the top 10 on America's Got Talent. That instantly builds credibility, just instantly. It's not a tagline. It's like, here's what happened, right? So what you're basically doing is you're kind of thinking in terms of what did you do or accomplish in the past, and then that's going to be your tagline. I mean, your Frank Sinatra sentence. So that's what you're thinking about. But once again, all of this is stuff that's going to happen when you actually contact people. So it's really hard to really sit down and think about it as you're just sitting down thinking about it. Unless you have something very obvious, like you appeared on America's Got Talent, or you were on Oprah, Dr. Oz, all that stuff. So unless it's really obvious, it's hard to really think about it. And also because you're probably too close to it. So like Ari probably didn't think about using the 9/11 as a Frank Sinatra sentence, right? Because he's too close to it. That's like his story. But that is a thing where it's going to naturally captivate people. Like literally, if he says that in an email, he's like, yeah, I'm a motivational speaker. And then he says like he has a very unique story because he was in the building when it happened, when September 11th happened, or September 1st. I mean, why do I keep saying 11th? And so, so it's like you just want to think along those lines. But once again, don't overthink this. Have conversations with people and then just use the conversations. Just think of a conversation as a regular conversation. So like, once again, I've been hired several times simply by making it so simple it's ridiculous. It's not even a pitch. It's literally a conversation. I say, who hires the speakers? They're like, I do. And then they'll say something along the lines of either I do, or they'll just say, I do. Who do you recommend? And I'll say, oh, I actually recommend this guy, Benji Bruce. You can see all his videos here. Like literally, that's all I'll put. Just, I recommend a guy, Benji Bruce. You can see his videos here. Bam. That's all I do. And I've been hired several times just by doing that, because once again, the goal of your email is to get them to click on the link to your website, and the goal of your website is to sell them. And so I'm not trying to sell them in the email. I'm simply trying to get them to click on the link to the actual to the website. So that's all I'm really doing. All right, so let's see. Lynette said, what if you don't have the credentials for your Frank Sinatra sentence? I've spoken at conferences for free. All right, so you've spoken at conferences, list the name of the conferences. So that's all you do. All right. So you've spoken at conferences. What are the names of the conferences you've spoken at? And just list those. That's all you do. All right. So let's see. Tammy said, all right. Yep. And by the way, so Tammy, what I would do, so don't say Fox 45. I would actually say just Fox. I'd be like, Tammy's appeared on Fox. Then I would put the most known ones first. So it'd be like Tammy's appeared on Fox, on BET, and then I'd put the other ones, right? And then what is Channel 4? So like Channel 4 News, what's the actual, what is that? So like, is Channel 4, is it Fox? Is it CBS? Is it ABC? Like, what is Channel 4? So I would actually put whatever Channel 4 is. So you would just say like Tammy's been on Fox, ABC, BET, Kennedy Center. So that's what you're doing right there. All right. So let's see. So we got that. All right. Any other final questions? And once again, guys, don't overthink something like the Frank Sinatra sentence. Literally don't overthink it. All you do is just contact the events and then go from there. That's what you want to do. Remember, figure it out as you go. That's literally what you're doing. That's literally how everybody built their business. Every single person in the world, in the universe, has built their business by figuring it out as they went. They did not sit down and plan it. They sat down and said, all right, here's what I need to do, or I think I need to do. Let me do it. And then they're like, oh, this thing pops up. Well, let me change this. And they're figuring it out as they go. And so the more you sit down and the more you do everything except talk to people, the less likely you're going to get hired, because you're not actually moving forward. And so you have to just sit there and think like, what am I actually doing? Like literally doing. All right. So we got that. Cool. So any other final questions before we're done? For anyone who hopped on last minute, you missed the best of the best. We were handing out Lamborghinis and all that sort of stuff earlier, but you guys hopped on too late. So sorry about that. You didn't get a Lamborghini. I gave someone like a private jet too, but you're too late. So let's see. Richard said, that's so true. Life and speaking, figure it out as you go. Yeah. I think what happens is, for some reason, we think people plan it, like even smart people. Right? Everyone thinks that we plan it. Like we look at Elon Musk, or we look at Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, or whatever. Nobody plans a damn thing. Like literally, you're sitting there doing stuff, and stuff pops up. And it's like, oh, all right, well, let me go do this. It's almost like you're putting out fires a lot of the time, to be honest. All right, so we are good to go for today. All right, so we will talk tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Remember, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So thanks, everybody, for showing up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And for those of you who aren't Speak Pro Academy members, make sure you join. Go to speakproacademy.com if you want help getting booked on stages. And all you Speak Pro members, make sure you're posting inside the group the conversations you're actually having. Post those inside the group. Let's get you guys booked on more stages. Let's fill up your freaking speaking schedule. Oh, wait, there's a... What is this? So Eric said, is Yesware worth it if my CRM tracks emails? Yep. Yesware is 100% worth it. All right, so let's see. You said, already said, all right, cool. So you're going to post inside the group. All right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Take care, everybody.